Good evening and welcome to the November 2025 Elizabethtown Area School District Board Action Meeting. Tonight's meeting will be presided over by Mr. Stephen Lindemuth, School Board President. For those attending in person who wish to address the board during the public comment portion of the meeting, please complete a district yellow card and place it in the drop box at the front of the auditorium by 7 p.m. Please note that if the public comment session ends early, it will conclude at that time. As a reminder, tonight's meeting is being recorded and will be available on the district's YouTube channel for 1 year. That concludes tonight's opening remarks. Mr. Lindemuth will now call the meeting to order.
All right, thank you and welcome to tonight's action agenda, our voting session. Thank you for coming out and braving the raindrops. We'd like to start simply with rising and having the Pledge of Allegiance followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, before we proceed, I would like to just say, I want to share a couple of brief reminders here before we start to help ensure that our meeting here runs smoothly and that we're respectful of our school facilities and staff. At the conclusion of tonight's meeting and immediately upon adjournment, we kindly ask that all attendees exit the building within 10 minutes and continue any post-meeting conversations outside. Hopefully you have an umbrella. This allows our buildings and grounds to begin their work, closing the auditorium and preparing it for later on. We respectfully request that members of the public and the media not enter the stage area at any point before, during, or after the meeting. We'd like to use the time immediately following adjournment for members of the press to direct any questions that they may have to the board. Members of the media may come to the front of the stage here on the floor and wait to be recognized in order to speak with various board members. For all other attendees, if you have questions or would like follow up on anything that is discussed tonight, please feel free to reach out to the board through email. We value your engagement and feedback and want to ensure that we are able to respond thoughtfully and appropriately. So with that being said, I believe we'll have our roll call. Mrs. Maxwell.
Mrs. Carter. Here. Mr. Emery.
Present.
Mr. Gillis.
Here.
Mrs. Lindemuth.
Here.
Mr. Reed.
Here.
Mr. Riggleman.
Here.
Mrs. Schrum is
She's absent.
absent. Mrs. Wilson.
Here.
I didn't.
Was Linda on Zoom?
Okay.
I didn't hear her.
Oh, she is on Zoom.
Okay.
Mrs. Schrum is on Zoom, and then Mrs. Wilson is here. Thank you.
All right, so I guess everyone is present. You've had a chance to look over the agenda. So do we have a motion concerning tonight's agenda?
I make a motion we accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept the agenda as presented. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. The agenda is approved. All right, I've already made my disclaimer there. So remarks tonight, I just want to say, I know there's been some comments concerning the student reps 2 weeks ago. I admit that situation, I probably didn't handle that in the best way. I should have shown a little more patience, a little more discretion. So I do apologize for that. However, with that being said, I do think that it's important that our reps and anyone else to approach the board with respect. We are all grown adults here. We're all elders, so to speak, in our 40s, 50s, and 60s, and we're all duly elected officials. We're trying to do our best. We're voting members of the board, and we would just expect that courtesy. So we'll try to do better. We'll try to discuss this topic in the future as well. And so that's really my statement for tonight. We have some other remarks that are to be made here. I'm going to yield the rest of my time to the Vice President, Mr. Emery.
Thank you, Mr. President. For those of you that don't know, my name is James Emery. I am the Vice President and the Facilities Chair on the Board of Directors for Elizabethtown Area School District. I would like to address this topic of unsafe building tonight. I will tell you that there has been a bit of misinformation going on. Here is, quote unquote, the rest of the story. We here at Elizabethtown Area School District deem the safety and the security of our students and our staff the most important of all our responsibilities. I'm fully aware of the conditions of our facilities and the needs that they do have. Our high school and middle school complex needs repair, if not remodeling. We are also looking at the possibility of a new facility to replace the current one. I'm sure that the complexity of undergoing something with this kind of magnitude can be understood by everybody. It requires tons of research and data to go through with tons of data analysis. In the meantime, here are the steps that we're taking to handle the issues that we currently have in our midst. We have an ongoing main septic issue in our building. Everybody knows about it. It's been ongoing for years and years. And it does cause backups. Those backups, however, have been more frequently apparent as of late. I've spoken with our grounds and buildings manager, Mr. Oliveira, and he has educated me in what these backups are mostly caused by. Although, having said, we do have a septic system that's in dire need of replacement. Mr. Oliveira, would you come up to the mic real quick, please? Mr. Oliveira, I'm calling you up to the mic because we just desire an unbiased opinion. We understand that when I first started on this board, we were getting 1, 2, maybe 3 backups a year. And we're having backups every week lately. What are you finding when you address these backups?
Well, first, let me say that the building itself, as has been stated in multiple meetings, is at end of life.
Yep.
And part of the sewer system is part of that.
Correct.
So we do have problems there.
Yep.
Since I've started here, most of our problems have been backups caused by students. A lot of them have been extra toilet paper, sometimes with silverware put inside of it, flushed down the toilets. We've had soap dispensers, the bags where the soap is contained in. We get those put into the toilets, T-shirts. Now, not taking away anything from the sewer system, it is in need of help. But we've had a lot of times over the last few weeks where students have exacerbated it. They've made it worse. And we've had to bring in augers and at times had to bring in contractors to repair those things.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Okay.
I just want to make it clear that this septic system is old. It's cast iron. It's 18 inches around. And with it being old and cast iron and 18 inches around, you can imagine the inside of something that is cast iron, that is as old as it is, it's rough in nature. It's going to catch things, more so than something that would be brand new PVC. It's going to catch things. It's catching t-shirts. It's catching plastic silverware. It's catching things of that nature, and it's doing it weekly at this point. So one would assume that a bad situation is being made worse on purpose. That's disheartening. I'll go on with my statement. As I said, we are fully aware of the conditions of our facilities and the needs that they have. Our high school and middle school complex requires repair or remodeling. We are also looking at the possibility of a new facility to replace the old one. I'm sure that the complexities of this are understood by everybody. It requires tons of research and data. Here are the steps that we are taking to handle the issues that we are currently have in our midst. We have an ongoing main septic issue in our building, and nobody's denying that. That does cause backups. We are diligently handling this on a case-by-case basis. Mr. Oliveira is working hard with this. We've had a full and completely extensive battery of air quality tests that have been conducted just within the past couple of months. These tests were not done by board members. They were done by professionals. They weren't done by administration. They were done by professionals. The quality within our buildings, the air quality within our buildings and our facilities has been deemed to be absolutely fine. It's said that the air within our buildings is even better than the air outside that you breathe. This comment has been made by professionals that have done the test. We also have, and by the way, we are going to continue to have these tests periodically. I think we've decided to do it once a period or once a quarter throughout the school year. We've also continued to proceed with having our maintenance department carry detectors for air quality on their person while in the building and dealing with septic issues. These tests, by the way, did include methane and mold tests as well. But these detection devices that our maintenance is carrying are a precaution. These detectors are worn while in the buildings, as I said, and if they were to go off, they would be detecting unsafe air quality levels. They'll sound off with an alarm or buzzing, and yet there has not been one go off once yet. Not once. Having said all of this, our high school, middle school building does need remodeling. We've spent tens of thousands of dollars on research and options. We've had not one, but 2 feasibility studies, when most other schools just have one. These studies cover every aspect of our buildings, from the usability of our space to the condition of our buildings. We believe in being fiscally responsible. We owe it to our community to find the most cost-effective way to provide the innovation and the usability that our students and our staff deserve in our facilities. These feasibility studies have just been completed within the last couple of weeks. We are now looking at the options given to determine which one best fits our needs. In the meantime, we have been assured through these feasibility studies that although our facilities are in need of extensive repairs, some of this due to the proverbial can being kicked down the road for years, our buildings are in fact safe to be in. I will admit that being in these buildings has been a challenge at times and perhaps uncomfortable. However, uncomfortable does not translate to unsafe. I believe that is where the misinformation exists. I am setting the record straight here and now. As your facilities chair, I've done the research. I've trusted the professionals, as we're often told to do. And our buildings need work. They need extensive work, but they're safe. If they weren't, this board would deem people not to be in them. Period. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you for your comments, Mr. Emery. I believe that concludes our remarks. So we'll turn it over to Dr. Nell for Students of the Month and announcements.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we're going to be recognizing our November Rotary Students of the Month, Sadie Givens, as well as Nicholas Kreider. Are Sadie and Nicholas here? Just give a wave so everyone can see you. Okay. Our first honoree that I'm going to share about is Sadie Givens. Sadie is the daughter of Gwendolyn Boyer of Bainbridge and Joel Givens of Elizabethtown. Sadie is an active and engaged student leader with involvement in multiple school clubs, including the Key Club, Model UN, Newspaper Club, Student Council, Red Cross Club, Women in STEM, Bible Club, Club Ophelia, Choir, and Link Crew. That's a lot, Sadie. She has held leadership positions in several organizations, including vice president of the Red Cross Club and treasurer of and head of fundraising for Women in STEM and the publicity secretary for Student Council. Sadie has been inducted in the National Honor Society. She has academic achievements, including multiple academic excellence awards in choir, career, and finance online, Honors World History, Honors English 10, and Honors General Science, as well as the Administrative Leadership Award and the President's Award for Educational Excellence. Outside of school, Sadie participates in Red Cross programs, Students for Education in PA, and she was a finalist for Vice President of Communications in the National Student Council. She also attends LCBC Harrisburg and balances employment at Weiss Market and Knock Knock Boutique. Looking ahead, Sadie plans to attend college, pursue a degree in biology or an accelerated occupational therapy program with the goal of continuing her studies towards a master's or doctorate in occupational therapy. So let's give Sadie a hand. Our second honoree tonight is Nicholas Kreider. Nicholas is the son of Dave and Lois Kreider of Elizabethtown. Nicholas is a National Merit Scholarship semifinalist, one of the highest academic honors a high school senior can achieve nationally. He has also been inducted in the National Honor Society, and he has consistently earned a place on the honor roll throughout high school. Nicholas has been recognized as an AP Scholar with distinction for outstanding performance on AP exams. Active in both academics and the arts, Nicholas participates in the high school concert band and orchestra, marching band, jazz band, and the musical pit orchestra. He also competes in science Olympiad and mathematics competitions. Beyond academics, Nicholas contributes to his community as a member of the Bainbridge Community Band, and he participates in his church, Crossroads BIC, volunteering weekly with youth group activities, operating camera equipment, and joining annual mission trips. He's also employed at Weiss Markets. And following graduation, Nicholas plans to attend a four-year university to study mathematics and physics. So again, a hand for Nicholas. It's also with great pride tonight that I introduce our Lions Club Student of the Month for November. To be considered for this prestigious honor, students must be enrolled in the Lancaster CTC and exhibit exceptional work ethic, skills, and knowledge in their respective areas. Our November honoree is Christian Rosados Barrios. Is Christian here? Not sure if... Okay, I'm not sure he was able to make it. So we're going to cheer him on anyway. Christian is a student in the Interactive Media and Web Design program at the Lancaster County CTC, and he is the son of Maybelline Barrios Marrero of Elizabethtown and the late Christian Rosado. He stands out for his strong work ethic, creativity, and genuine passion for learning. Whether he's coding a website, editing video content, or collaborating on a group project, Christian consistently brings focus, originality, and problem-solving skills to everything he does. He approaches each challenge with curiosity and persistence, often going beyond the assignment to explore new tools or to refine his work until it meets professional standards. At the Elizabethtown Area High School, Christian learned the Python coding language, and this year at the Lancaster County CTC, he is delving deeper into programming by learning Java, HTML, and CSS. I don't know what those things are, but apparently Christian does. His instructors commend his initiative, teamwork, and willingness to help others, noting that he contributes positively to the classroom community. Outside of school, Christian enjoys playing basketball and computer coding. He credits his parents for their encouragement and guidance, sharing that their support has been instrumental in his personal and academic success. Christian's future plans include attending Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology to pursue a degree in software engineering. So let's give Christian a hand. So I'll now move into my own announcements for this evening. As we head into the Thanksgiving season this week, I'm proud to share two outstanding collection initiatives happening across our district, efforts that truly reflect the generosity and community spirits of our students, staff, and families. At Bainbridge, our school community came together to support 12 Bainbridge families with thoughtfully prepared food boxes. In total, they collected 852 boxes and cans of food. These contributions include the traditional Thanksgiving favorites of boxed mashed potatoes, canned vegetables, yams, gravy, and stuffing, as well as staples that families can enjoy throughout the year, such as macaroni and cheese, pasta and pasta sauce, applesauce, peanut butter, and jelly. At the middle school, students and staff rallied behind the annual Feathers for Families program. Thanks to their creativity and heartfelt commitment, the school raised an incredible $5,738, which will directly support 21 families this holiday season. These two efforts highlight the compassion and dedication that make our community so special, and I do want to thank anyone who has donated, organized, or supported these initiatives. Your generosity ensures that many families in our community will have a warm and abundant Thanksgiving this week. Similar to Mr. Emery, I would also like to provide a brief update regarding some of the building concerns that we have been hearing and the news coverage related to those. In response to those, I would like to let you know that we have developed a dedicated web page that serves as a centralized information hub for family and the broader community. It can be accessed directly from our district homepage in the announcements section. This web page includes an archive of prior communications, links to prior testing and inspection results, and copies of the recent feasibility study presentations. It also provides clear information on the facility issues that have generated the most questions from students, staff, and the community, specifically sewage and plumbing concerns, HVAC and air quality, and pest and wildlife management. It's never a dull moment here, along with the context of the building's longstanding challenges. This initiative reflects our continued commitment to transparency and to ensure that our community has access to accurate, up-to-date information as we work together to address these facility concerns. Before we conclude this evening, I do want to remind everyone that the board will meet in public session again next Tuesday, December 2nd. So in December, this will occur on the first Tuesday of the month instead of our normal second and fourth Tuesdays. This is for our annual reorganization meeting, which will be followed immediately by the December regular workshop session. As part of that upcoming reorganization, we will be welcoming 2 new board members. And with that transition approaching, I would like to take a moment to recognize and thank our 2 departing board members for their dedicated service to the Elizabethtown Area School District. We'll start with Mr. Emery. Mr. James Emery has served on the school board from December 2021 through December 2025, including as board vice president from December 2023 to December 2025. During his tenure, he contributed significantly as a member of the Facilities Committee, also serving as the chair of that committee. He has also assisted with the Educational Planning Committee, the Committee of the Whole, and he served as an alternate representative to both IU13 and the Lancaster County Academy. We extend our sincere appreciation to Mr. Emery for his leadership and his commitment to our district. And on a personal level, Jim, I know we haven't always seen eye to eye. In fact, I'm not sure if there could be 2 people who are probably more different than you and I are. However, I've learned a lot by hearing your perspective and working with you, considering a different point of view. I hope you can say the same to me. I think that that can be a testament that different perspectives can work successfully together. So I'm glad I kept an open mind about that. And I believe that that has actually helped me to grow as a leader. So I've appreciated your willingness to learn and the humility that you've approached the job with. So thank you for your service to the district. And Mr. James Reed. Mr. Reed has served the Elizabethtown Area School District community from December 2017 through December 2025. Over his 8 years of service, he was an active member of the Finance Committee, serving as the Vice Chair of the Finance Committee. He's also been involved with the Educational Planning Committee, the Committee of the Whole, and he has served as the district's representative to the Lancaster County Academy and a PSBA alternate representative. We are very grateful for Mr. Reed's dedication and steady support of our students, staff, and families. And Jim, I have so appreciated getting to know you during your time on the board. You were so welcoming when I got hired by the district in the first place. Your passion for our students, faculty, staff, and administration has not gone unnoticed. I will greatly miss hearing you provide your Lancaster County Academy reports each month. I hope that you please continue to attend our annual Veterans Day Assembly. And of course, let's continue our coffee talks. Thank you also for your service to the board. I am going to ask briefly that Mr. Emery and Mr. Reed come forward to the front of the stage to thank you for your time, energy, and thoughtful service to the district. We do have a small token of appreciation, and I know that Mr. Portzer would like to get a picture of both of you. Yeah, I can get that. Okay. This one is for you. Oh, this one is for you. Of course, come on down front here. Come on up. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. And last but not least, this evening, as we head into the holiday, I do want to wish everyone a happy and safe Thanksgiving break, and we look forward to seeing you again in December. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Nell, for all of those announcements and for introducing our students of the month. At this time, we have a couple presentations, I guess, before we get to public comments and our action items. So I will turn it over to our finance chair.
I'll turn this over to Mr. Strickler.
Thank you, Mrs. Linda Booth. A couple of updates we'll go through. Next slide. So we continue to look at the to develop a 5-year financial plan, and which will include operations, education, renovations, and instruction. Next slide, please. And will align to the effective systems pillar. Next slide. Tonight's agenda, while seems to be too long, but I apologize for that, but I think we need to bring you updates. Our state budget update, federal updates, 25-26 year-to-date updates, and PDE early warning system. Next slide, please. Pennsylvania updates. Much to Mrs. Linda Booth not liking, next slide is a lot of numbers. And really I'm looking for you to, one of the questions that we constantly get asked when there's a new budget and what's going on is, okay, that's what E-Town is. How do we compare? So, God bless you. We compare, here's Lancaster County. One of the things that I did, finance committees often ask about our numbers and where others are in the county. So the very last line is the daily, the ADM, or the average daily membership of each school in the county, each school district in the county. And of course in blue is E-Towns. One thing you will notice with basic ed funding is it does not go by ADMs. That just because we're at 3,600 students doesn't mean that everyone else, you can't divide the total basic ed funding by ADMs and say that's what everybody gets, because you'll readily be wrong. Those that have many, many less students than we do are very close to the same dollar amount that we receive. So that's a misnomer to think that we're getting per student. We're not. So this year, the district is getting $11,676,000 in the most recently passed budget of 2 weeks ago. Next slide, please. I'll let you look at the other numbers on your at your leisure. The next slide is special ed. And again, the finance committee picked up, thought that the CFO made an accident. When it comes to numbers, it's very easy that I could miss something, oversight. But special education in the state of Pennsylvania is still based on 2013-2014 base. That's when it began. So that number in that column, 2013-2014, is accurate. That's where the state starts with a base. I'm sure we all know Elizabethtown's base, and so is every other school district's base, has changed in the special education population. It needs to be updated, but the state goes with that base and then increases from there. So as you can see, this year Elizabethtown will receive $2,794,000. Next slide. This is the, if you have read in the news as well as heard on the media, where the state has lost a court battle with school districts being subsidized properly. Historically, in the past, some schools felt that they did not receive the correct amount, and the court ruled in their favor. So the Ready to Learn grant is where the state is trying to make that up. It's called adequacy funding. So each year they modify the adequacy funding and try to get some of those districts that haven't been funded properly closer to where they feel it will become properly. This is not a once and done. This will be many years. So this year, Elizabethtown, there's two things. There's a foundation funding in Ready to Learn and an adequacy funding. So combining the two, we will receive $1,262,000. This is the largest area that we are over budget, which I will show you in a minute. And the reason for this is what we have been told since this started 2 years ago. You can be guaranteed to get your foundation funding, but you're not guaranteed to get your adequacy funding. So during the negotiation process, the adequacy could disappear or decrease. Therefore, I'd much rather come to you and say that we are going to receive more than what I told you then come to you and say, sorry, I budgeted everything and we're not getting it. So therefore, this is the biggest area. And if you look at the third column over, the estimated adequacy supplement, 394,000. Miraculously on the next slide, that's the number that we're over budget. Next slide, please. So here's the totals. Basic ed funding, we received, we'll get 11, this is still estimated, I still don't have the exact, PDE has not updated their website to say actual, it's still saying estimated. I'm assuming it's actual, but we'll go with that. So our basic ed, 11.6, special ed, 2.8, ready to learn grant, 1.2. If you look over on the right side, differences, 32,007, 18,000, 394,007. Our total over budget amount that we will receive is $445,506. This is not new money to be spent. This will fit into our budget and help with the under budget that we have. Revenue is lower than what our estimated expenses were, so this will help to balance it. It will not balance the 2.5 that we're short, but it will help. So it should come down to 2.1 short as opposed to 2.5. We are not sending anyone out on spending expeditions or getting new money. It's not a Christmas shopping spree to see this number. It will fit into our budget just fine, and that's where we go from there. The number that Mrs. Lindemuth has been talking to you about, next slide, please. This is small, but I tried to get everything in. This is what the state has sent us since the lovely vote. What that comes out to at the bottom column that you may not be able to read is $7,558,000 that we've received year to date since July 1st from the state. If you look at this column, when you can see it closer, there's only 5 payments that are to the 25-26 budget, and they amount to $1 million. So basically, the state has been holding $6,500,000 of last year's money. So when we see an audit, you will see we have receivables in our audit from last year waiting for this money. So we didn't get excited that we're all of a sudden getting $7 million that's for this year. We're still backed up for this year. This is just really what the state has done for the last couple of weeks is just made up for last year, which helps us to pay all of our bills. So I do want, they're getting it out. We're getting money almost every day since the budget has been passed. So they're very quick at doing it. Next slide, please. And I have one comment to make before I get to federal updates, because Mrs. Carter has read about something and she really, really, really wants to know the answer to this. And I really, really want to tell her, and I finally got at least a sample. We will reduce our costs. We're not getting any money, so let's not get excited. We will reduce our cost approximately $320,000 in cyber expense. That is based on last year's numbers. So if our cyber numbers change this year, but based on last year, the state budget also passed a different formula for paying for cybers, both special ed and regular ed. However, PDE was not anticipating it. So there's a form called PDE 363 that all school districts must submit by October 1st of each year. What that does is tells the cyber schools what they can charge us effective January 1st in a normal year. This is not a normal year. So therefore, when PDE comes out with a new form, because we have to refill out the one we already submitted this past October, they'll give us time to fill that out. When we fill that out, every cyber charter school in the state has to recalculate what they've already built. And then we have to go back and either give credit, or basically we'll be receiving a credit for future bills. We're not going to exchange checks. It'll just be getting credit for future bills. This will take probably, I would say, February to March until we start seeing a reduction, and then to get the credits. It'll probably be the end of the year before we get our full credits. But I know you've been asking that. That is the $340,000 that I worked through the numbers. That's based on what they think is going to be on the form. So I still don't have a form. We're just going by what we've been told, people reading the new budget language. So I think that gets us close to it, but I know you wanted to hear that number. But 340 is better than paying the same amount. Sorry, I couldn't help you exactly, but it's close. Federal updates, next slide. We'll give you the nice update first. All of the programs from the Department of Education were announced in the new budget, when the budget was passed, that everything that you see there is now moving to the Department of Labor. Therefore, there's no paperwork as to how that's moving. These are all currently in the Department of Education, that we currently receive money from the Department of Education. We're not sure what forms to fill out to get the money in Department of Labor. We don't know if the Department of Labor has received the money yet. We have not been told how much money we will be getting. We just are being told where it's going to be coming from or who we have to communicate with. Based on my knowledge of government, I don't think Department of Labor yet has the infrastructure set up to deal with these. This just happened 3 weeks ago when the budget was passed. So stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of late breaking news on this one because we really, at this point, we think we know what the money is. Dr. Kirkpatrick and I, she tells me the numbers. I won't commit anything until I see it on paper, just because I'm very concerned with this transfer between the two until it absolutely happens and we get a letter saying, yes, you've received this much money. So stay tuned for this one. Next slide, please. Now we'll go to the year-to-date E-Town. Next slide. As expected, July through October, we've received $47,300,000. We're lower than the last 2 years. That's because the only revenue we've received is from local. What you see in state there is strictly the gambling money, the homestead farmstead money that the state gave us. We haven't received, until November, we won't receive any money. Next slide is the unanticipated expenses. We're at $265,000 through the first 4 months. And that ends all of the financial updates. Over the past 3 or 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever, I've continuously been asked about the PDE's financial early warning system. And that is receivership, watch list,
Mr. Strickler,
improvement list.
Mr. Strickler, can I pause you for
Yes,
just a
I'm
minute?
sorry.
You've gone through a lot of information. Can we
Okay.
just pause to see if anybody has any questions about that section before you get into the next section?
I did have a question.
Absolutely.
So the amount that we had from the state was on slide, I don't remember what slide, on slide 10 about the payments received and scheduled, and you said most of them were from last year. Are we caught up? Because I know there was a large amount that they owed us from last year, or do they still owe us more money from last year?
I wasn't prepared for that one.
Sorry, I know. Just you mentioned it, so I just wanted to check.
We received 2 more today, and I didn't check exactly what they were for. I think we are almost caught up, if not completely caught up. Because they were, most of these, what we found out, and we've made several phone calls, and I've already checked because I know the people that look at the numbers. Some of these you'll see are exact same amounts. And what the state did as we went past July 1st with no budget is they keyed them into the system like they were going to pay them, and then it just stopped. So they were supposed to give us an amount in July and an amount in September, which was the exact same amount. We got the same amount twice the same day. And I thought it was an error on their part. And what it was so I think they've got everything out of the system for 24, 25, and now we're receiving all 25, 26. I will check on that and I'll put it in a board log next week.
Thank you. Yes, sorry, you just mentioned it, so I wanted to
that's
just
not a
check.
problem. I
Yeah, thank
appreciate
you.
it.
I appreciate that.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Strickler. Sorry about that.
I just get going and keep moving. Just want to make the note or I'll forget it tomorrow. So I've been asked by several people, community as well as board members, what's going on with the early warning? And what is it? What does it mean? Where's E-Town? What I wanted to do is, because it is somewhat complicated and it is very deep in the law, I really don't want to go into an hour discussion tonight on this. What I would prefer, and this is what you're going to see, I'm going to go very quickly through the next 10 slides. I'd like you to spend some time with them over the next, we only have a week, sorry about that, but to really get some knowledge of what the state's saying. And then next week, what I'd like to do is come back. I do not want to discuss E-Town tonight because we may get in the wrong discussions or whatever. Next week's is already almost done. So I have that really putting in E-Town, but I'd like to go over what it is today, where it is, and then next week we'll discuss E-Town. It'll be part of the two-part series, if that's okay with everyone. I really don't have all the numbers yet, so that's where we're going. So I'm going to scan through this. Any emails or any questions that we don't answer tonight, if you think of them, tomorrow morning when you're eating cereal, whatever, Mrs. Lindemuth will be more than happy to answer them, or at least send them forward to me. So go ahead to that. I'll add those to next week. Since it's very close, we'll get it right back. Next slide. Next slide. So the PDE's early warning system is just that. It's PDE saying they look at, and so that everybody knows this is not something that just happens. Every year by November 30th, this week, Dr. Nell has to sign a form called the Annual Financial Report. We must, every school district must submit that by November 30th or the superintendent is penalized. There's no option. So we must, even if the audit is not complete, we must submit an annual financial report. The reason for that, PDE wants to see that. They have certain numbers that they're looking for. There's certain, I'll say red flags that'll start going up, or yellow flags per se, that will start going up at PDE when those annual financial reports go up. The reason they do this with the November 30th is that the administration cannot sit there and say, we don't have our audit done yet. We didn't call the auditor last week, but we don't have it done yet, so therefore we can't put the annual financial report in, and just delay potentially PDE picking it up. So what they do is they have the annual financial report, audited or unaudited, must be in. If your audits after the 30th is completed, you then must go back and update the numbers from your audit. We then have to submit an actual audit to the state. The computer compares the numbers. You can't lie on the annual financial report. They'll pick it up. So that's really the what I call the warning system, the starting warning system. All 500 of us have to do it. That is really by computer. There's not any one individual that sits and goes through all 500. The computer will spit out anything I will call in the early warning system, that PDE says something's not right, something's not going right. There's some numbers here that just aren't looking right for this one school district. We'll look at it. So that's the early warning system, and that's what they establish. Next slide. PDE follows a process that they will, who they notify, the board will be notified, superintendent will be notified, so that everybody in the district is aware if you're on the early warning system, or if PDE thinks that there's something not right. They look at, next slide, they look at fund balance ratio, borrowing base, your debt ratio, advanced basic ed funding. Next slide. The easy way to look at it is the green, yellow, light red, and red to look at. And really it's the fund balance ratio is what they're looking at, and this is not the only thing they're looking at. This is one of the items. This is the easiest one for them to see. What I tried to do, the colors there and the wording is mine to try to give it an easy look. So if you look at your budget, revenues higher than expenses, it will increase your fund balance. That's a green. Keep going that way. Revenues that are equal to or less than your expenses, and you're using assigned fund balance to break even, to come back to balance. So when we were having issues that PSERS was rising rapidly, we were putting money, all of us in the state were putting money into fund balance and earmarking it for PSERS increase. So yes, the expenses were higher than revenue, but where it was in the PSERS increases, took it out of fund balance, and we balanced the budget. That's still a green. You're not doing anything unexpected. You planned that in the past. Next one's revenue is less than expenses, and you're using fund balance to bring it back to zero. That's a yellow. That's a caution. You've got to watch where we're going. How long are you going to continue doing this? You've got to be very cautious, but it's a yellow at that point. revenues less than expenses using fund balance, multiple fiscal years, which continually decreases your fund balance. That becomes pink. It's getting too much. Be cautious. The board should be extremely cautious and watch where we're going, where the expenses are. Revenues less than expenses using fund balance, multiple fiscal years, completely depleting the fund balance. That's closer to REM. And the final one, revenues less than expenses using fund balance, multiple fiscal years, completely depleting the fund balance and going below fund balance, basically into the negative, is a bright red. And that's the way PDE would look at it. So as long as you're greens and yellows, PDE is not going to look at you. You start going into the pinks, it'll be one of those things. It'll be on somebody's desk at PDE. We'll wait till next year and see if you go from a light pink to a yellow. Okay, you're coming back up again. So that's really what they're looking for and how they're doing. Might be you get into a pink, it might be a phone call to the CFO. What's happening? Did you have something unexpected happen this year? Whatever. They're looking for that because they do not get every detailed expense. They're getting totals. That's what that AFR is, just your totals. Next slide, please. Level 1 analysis. Here's the negative, and this is the one thing that there's a lot of people across the state that have misconceptions. So let's set it straight, PDE's wording. And it's sort of read between the lines. The level 1 analysis, what is your borrowing capacity? What is your debt ratio? So you're leaning toward, if you're going into the pink, PDE's first thing is going to be go borrow money to get out of the pink or go into debt to get out of the pink. Not good for any of us. But this is the way they're going to walk through the system. Next slide. They will, this is when, to me, this is when you're really dark red or into the red. PDE will advance next year's basic ed funding to you, which means you're getting a loan from the state of Pennsylvania. But you're not getting next year's funding, you're getting next year's funding this year. Not a good way to work when you're working with next year's money already. They will also do what they call a bond intercept. And some of you may recall, and I think PSBA also came out with during the process of not having a budget, that PDE has a bond payment system that the state, that all of us could apply for. They will make your bond payments until there's a budget passed, then you have to pay them back. While that could be good, Moody's does your ratings. Moody's also finds out that you had Pennsylvania do a bond intercept. Even though it was no budget, you still did a bond intercept. They sometimes don't like that. Not saying every time, but there's a possibility. So that's why you don't really want to do a bond intercept unless you absolutely have to. Next slide. Additional data that they will collect, market value, personal income, aid ratio, the equalized mills, school tax ratio. They just want to see how bad you're taxing the homeowners. Some of these numbers I'll have in next week so that when we get down to ETAM. Act 47 status. Next slide. School district then has to, and one of the things that you see in this, why all of us CFOs try to shy away from this as much as possible. Every time it says PDE will get this, PDE will get that, that's your business office that's getting that. PDE sends a letter and says, this is what we want. You have 25 days or you have 15 days or you have 30 days to supply it to us. So that's really how PDE gets it. They don't have any other way. They're not going to come in here with a bunch of accountants and try to go through our system. We'll provide everything to them. Next slide. They then determine the financial watch status. Again, it's that first level that something happens at on the annual financial report, something goes up at PDE, we want more information. They go through some of the steps we just talked about. At the end, level 3, they determine your financial watch status. They may just say you're going to be on watch. And many school districts that you see in some areas now that you may not ever saw on the list, we're on a watch list. And it was not an official watch list. It's we're going to watch you. We're going to make some recommendations. If everything's good, you're going to get off the watch list. We're done. You don't have to provide us with any more details. Next, I just want to go through a couple of these just so you know what it is because the word's been thrown around. Financial recovery for school districts. Next slide. Next slide. You can read that at your leisure. Financial watch is the very first step. School district identified through early warning system. They're going to watch you. They're going to want monthly financial reports that they want so that they can see what's going on, what's happening, what's coming up in the school district. They notify everybody here in the district. Next slide. Those that are the school districts currently on financial watch in Pennsylvania are Aliquippa in Beaver County, Reading in Berks County, and Wilkinsburg in Allegheny County. Next slide. The next step after financial watch is financial recovery. It's basically, you're a little bit deeper than financial watch. We got to watch you a lot closer. We're going to probably get weekly reports instead of monthly reports. We probably are going to be on the phone with you almost daily to see what's going on, what's happening. This can be caused by a couple of things. It can be caused by that you're going deeper. In a lot of cases, what I see it caused by is you're ignoring PDE. And that's not a good thing. And it's not, I'm not saying that to be funny, but it's, if they're here, you're in a financial watch and they're here to help you, the last thing you want to do is ignore them. Because if you look at as we go through, I got a couple down below, if you look at the actual documents, if you ignore them, the Secretary of Education will put you on the recovery list. If you then ignore them, that's when you go to receivership. And this is not, I want to be really cautious. This is not a 3-month process. This is not a 1-year process to go from watch to recovery to receivership. It's a many-year process that is going to happen. And in a lot of cases, if you really do some history research, which I've done after you've all asked me, that's why it did take a month or so to do this. What you'll see in a lot of the cases that hit receivership is a total ignoring of PDE. And the state really has no options. That they can't come in and take your checkbook from you or write checks for you. They can't do anything until they take you into these steps. So once they start helping, once they start watching, it's to me a very good indication. Do what they say, or at least assist them in doing that, and they will help. So the financial recovery piece is the next step. And they do a little bit more than help then, is they're basically directing, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. Next slide. Those in financial recovery today are Chester Upland, Duquesne City, Stowe Rocks, and Stilton High Spire, which is the closest to us. Next slide. Stilton High Spire was the most recent, which happened in March of this year. What I did was took out the Secretary of Ed has to give a directive when anyone goes into this phase, and they put the exact reasons why they're putting them into this phase. And all I did was took A through E is the excerpt from her directive. So you can read those. Next slide. Final step is receivership, and that is where the Secretary of Ed goes to the Court of Common Pleas and places a school district into receivership. At that point, the Secretary of Ed appoints a chief recovery officer, and basically the chief recovery officer becomes the dictator of the school district, the financial dictator. They decide the tax increases, they decide the expenses, they decide everything. They try to do it in cooperation with the school board and the superintendent. If that doesn't work, however, they have full authority to take everything over. And the next slide. The most recent receivership is Harrisburg School District. They were in receivership for 6 years. They had, according to the Department of Ed, the reason was due to chronic financial mismanagement and academic struggles, and the outcome became the first district to exit receivership, and they now continue with oversight from the Chief Recovery Officer. Questions?
Does anybody have any questions? Just to be clear, I know you don't want to talk about E-Town, but we have not even received anything from the state. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so this is, to reiterate what you said, this is not something that is going to happen tomorrow, that we get a notification from the state that we're in receivership. That is misinformation that is out there that was bandied about for several months, correct?
We have nothing for receivership, and we'd have to, you would already know, you all 9 would already know, because we'd have had to go through watch and recovery steps first. And no, we have not received anything for receivership or watch or recovery. And I want to be clear that I don't have any indication that watch is coming tomorrow, but because of the constant questions that I'm being asked, we need to make sure that all of you are aware where we are. And that's really the next step. I think in an education system, we need to educate. So the first thing I need to do is educate you on all of the processes with PDE. Next week, we'll start working on through some of these things that they're asking for, the numbers and all of that, that you'll see where E-Town is. Are we possibly concerning? Maybe when I'm done, I'll let you know. I'll see all of that. I don't have all the numbers yet together. I know Mrs. Wilson had asked why I'm not sleeping at night. I think it's a lot of things put together. It was no state budget was one. It was concerning with, I don't like budgeting in the negative, those type of things. So things will come together. I'm going to put them together for these. You can make, decisions. At this point, no, PDE has made no contacts with us.
Okay.
And just as we review this, I did dive in a little bit to the most recent one with Steelton High Spire. There is a ton of information on their website if you want to dig in more. They actually have been on the watch list for a decade, and they just now got moved up to this next level because they weren't listening to the state. So the state gave them 10 years to try to right their finances, and then kind of said, look, you're not doing what you want. Now your fund balance is in trouble. And, because they had a couple years where they were only able to do payroll and debt service, and that was it. Like, they went into debt like crazy, and the state worked with them for 10 years before they even got to this next level that they're in now. So just looking at that history to kind of see, like, the state really does try to work with the districts to get them where they need to be. This is, certainly scary things, but it's definitely something that they want to try to get you right. And if the district works with you, then you get off the list. And out of 500 schools, I think only, and maybe you saw Mr. Strickler, 3 schools in the history of receivership have ever been in receivership. And then out of 500, right now I think there's 4. I think it said something, there's a maximum of 9 that could be on there at one time that the state can work with. So just for reference, as you're researching, that is a good place to look, since that's the most recent district on their website. They have a whole, kind of like we dedicate our pages, they have a whole page dedicated to their financial stuff for this. So
Thank you, Kelly. That's very helpful. Kelly is our super sleuth on the board. We love her. So any other questions before we go on to the next item? All right. Thank you, Mr. Strickler, on that. The next item that we have is something that is added to the agenda. We just want to talk about it real quick because we are going to be voting on this a little bit later. So we had a group come to us from the Church of the Brethren, and they want to do an Eliminate Lunch Debt campaign. And they've been working with Mr. Strickler, and they are looking to have donors take care of our lunch debt. Mr. Strickler, what is our lunch debt at right now? We're close to it. You should know I'd ask this.
To have that up here. 34,000, 4,500 is, and we broke it down. Whenever any family receives free and reduced lunch, they would get approved for the application. That does not go retroactive. So if they've struggled to make the payments and they've gotten behind, when they get approved, that starts the day they get approved. So we have about $4,500 of negative balance of families that are approved currently on free and reduced lunch, but the state and federal government will not pay the history. So that's the first part that we're going to look to try to get paid down by donations from the community, is to get that roughly $4,500 paid down. And then we've taken the additional 30,000 and we've rated that based on using our counselors in the schools, principals, anyone that we know of, where the families stand. So the last debt we would want to pay are those that are just not paying. The ones that we want are the families that are above the limit for free and reduced, but just barely above. So they're struggling as well, so we want to get those next. But that's really where we are. So it's about 34,000 in total. 4,500 should be the first to go, and then we'll start working on the rest.
Absolutely.
And just so the board members know, and I'll repeat this again next month if you want us, our new board members come on. We're all happy when we're buying new stoves and things for the cafeteria because our cafeteria is doing wonderfully and has a great fund balance. Negative balances cannot be paid from cafeteria. It must be paid from general fund. So this will hit general fund directly if we want to write it off as a district.
Thank you. So what we're going to be looking for is, this is going to be a donation item. And so later in the meeting, we're going to be asking to approve that we will be accepting the donation from the area churches. And most specifically, the Church of the Brethren, to eliminate the lunch debt. Are there any questions about that? We are very thankful to our community for finding a unique idea to be able to help offset those that have these debts, especially the ones that have the most dire need. And with that, I will turn it over.
All right. Thank you, Finance Committee. We do have a presentation tonight as well before public comments. So E-Town Future Educators Program, we'll turn it over to Mrs. Carter.
Yes, so we have some students who have gone through our pilot of our Future Ed program. This was something that we had talked about last year to start a pipeline in our schools, or in the high schools, sort of like what we have for if they want to go into the medical field or if they want to go into the trades, we have different pipelines for them. And we're going to start talking a lot about college in the high school and classes in the high school. So this kind of flows neatly with that. But these are students from our pilot program who are worked over the last year to do this program. So they want to come and present how the program's going and their thoughts from that. So.
Ms. Gillette, Mrs. Myers, no, Mrs. Myers and company.
Thank you so much. We have limited students tonight, unfortunately, with the vacation and everything and getting them to commit to come and some other emergencies. But Lacey and I are here to present. So I want to thank the board and the administration and the community for allowing Lacey and I to come tonight to speak to you about our program that we are extremely passionate about. I have my cards because I get off task when I'm passionate about something, so I'm going to try to limit it to that. Career development at Elizabethtown is something that other districts seek to emulate and something we're looking to grow. Between the high school counseling department and the career pathway coordinator, Lacey Meyer, as well as the support of the building and district level administration and our amazing staff, we strive to build experiences and opportunities for our students to take them beyond the classroom and into their potential world of employment. This not only allows students to gain experience and exposure, but also reinforces or negates what they think they want to do. Programming can be as broad as the classes and curriculum offered here at the high school and the CTC, and as specific as our EMT program in collaboration with MESA or our independent electrical contractor program being supported by Fullerton Electric. The program we wish to discuss tonight is the Elizabethtown Future Educators Program, which aligns with the board's goals of removing barriers to help students grow educationally, emotionally, and socially, as well as the pillars of student learning, student readiness, and to have engaged and well-rounded students. Because of the PA teacher shortage, the Attract, Prepare, Retain grant was designed to help districts create programming to develop a pipeline of teachers. Dr. Walt Smith applied for and secured this grant, which has provided us the opportunity to build and grow a district-made Future Educators program. This programming is in its second year, and ideally, we would like it to be a 3-year program that includes several opportunities for our potential future educators. We currently have 30 students in this program. The program not only provides real-life experiences for students, but also removes financial barriers by allowing students to take college-level courses in the high school. Over the 3-year program and in collaboration with St. Francis and Messiah universities, as well as other post-secondary institutions, our goal is for students to take Introduction to Special Education, Introduction to Pedagogy, Educational Psychology, and Differentiated Instruction. In addition, students can earn more college credit by taking our College in the High School and AP courses. Students could potentially earn enough credits to complete the 1 or 2 semesters of college prior to graduation. This is not only a cost saving to our family and no cost to the district, but also the opportunity to determine if teaching truly is what the student wants to do and if they are ready for that post-secondary education. Students who are a part of the Future Educator program also participate in other opportunities to experience working with different populations. Whether they're working with our students in peer tutoring, leading in Clubophilia, or mentoring in Bigs and Littles, or participating in our unified classes, there are endless options. This year, we've developed 2 new courses, Unified Physical Education and Unified Technology for Life. Led by Jennifer Sattel and Scott Farmer under the framework and recommendations of the Special Olympics and the Unified Classroom, our life skills students and our regular education students work alongside one another, learning the same curriculum. The regular education students get to try out their early skills as educators to support and learn with our life skills students. Some of these students are also in our unified homeroom with our life skills students, enhancing their morning routine and getting the day started. And some students participate on the Unified Bocce team and the Bears United Club, where they live the philosophy of the Special Olympics, striving to create a better world by fostering acceptance and inclusion of all people. We are so excited about this program. And we're so excited that we invited Sophia, a 9th grader, who is in our Unified Homeroom. She's in our Bears United Club and a partner on our Unified Bocce team to speak about her experiences. After that, Lacey's going to talk about the teacher internship, which is another part of the experience that our future educators participate in.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. While I was in middle school, my mom was developing this program and became a coach of the Unified Bocce team. I was very excited to eventually be a part of this. I was also able to volunteer a few times at Camp Ladybug the past 2 summers. In the morning, I work in Miss Booth and Miss Busey's homeroom. Working with the life skills students gives me the opportunity to experience different ways people can communicate, whether it be through emotions or hand gestures. I've learned the importance of patience and empathy, that everyone has unique strengths. After being in there for this short time, I've really begun to realize that education is not just about academics, but also about helping students grow into independent, confident, and capable individuals. Thank you.
Next slide, please. Next slide, please. All right, so I'm going to speak a little bit about our Future Educator internship. We started this last spring, and the counselors identified students who were potentially thinking about going into education. And so last spring we had 7 students participate, and next semester we are going to have 12 students. And this is a 1-credit internship. They have to do 5 hours a week in a classroom, whether it be at an elementary school, Bear Creek, or the middle school. So what the students are going to be doing, they attend monthly sessions with myself during Flex in the IMC, and we talk about various things that they could possibly see in coursework when they get to college. Some examples are going to be, Bloom's taxonomy, some very basic things about that, different types of assessments, why do nows and exit tickets are important, special education and types of instruction. We bring in guest speakers to talk about these topics as well. For example, we have Jess Conrad coming in to speak about the differences between accommodations and modifications in special education. Based on those monthly sessions, the students will prepare activities with their mentor teacher, and they will work together to come up with activities that the students will lead in the classrooms that they're interning in, of course, with the help of the teacher. Another aspect of the internship are the weekly reflections. The students will review different facets of education and reflect on them. This would include looking at different educational theories, types of learning, types of behaviors, collaboration, and building relationships. What has made this so successful is the willingness of our teachers in the district to open up their classrooms and host the students. It gives them a great experience and gives them great mentorship all semester. And I have Riley Long, who is a senior who participated in her junior year, and she's doing an internship again this spring. So she's going to speak about that.
Hi, I'm Riley Long. I was a senior last year, and I was one of the first group that was able to do this. And I did it in 7th grade math. I thought I always wanted to be a math teacher, and then I brought into this program, and I realized quickly I did not want to do 7th grade math. So I went into this year. Right now I'm in 2nd grade, and it made me realize that I definitely do want to do more of an elementary school. But the program was able to help me realize and actually teach the kids. While like some internships you aren't allowed to teach the kids, it was able to help me plan for the kids, and I have been able to like get more in the classroom. And then during the spring semester of this year, I'm also going to be in the college of the special ed program. So that is definitely going to help me with my college courses next year, and it's going to help me be more prepared than other kids I feel like will be for college, and it will be able to help me work towards knowing where I want to be in college, and I think that will help a lot of other kids. Thank you.
And then we had one more student that was going to speak, senior Dominic Hempsch, but he was unable to make it. So I'm just going to read what he sent to me. At the end of my sophomore year, it seemed there was only one topic of conversation between myself and all of my peers and family members. What are you going to do after high school? It was only natural, and I expected it, as that is the question presented to every high schooler at some point. But however prepared I was, I didn't know how to answer. I knew I wanted to pursue music in some capacity, but the career path seemed endless, and I didn't know where to start until I got in contact with the Bear Creek band director, Mrs. Peters. She proposed I intern with her at Bear Creek to see if teaching was my strong suit. This program helped me immensely with my search for a career and gave me a sense of purpose that feels unrivaled to any others. Getting to experience firsthand the effect that I as a teacher could have on the students is nothing short of amazing. Though I ultimately decided not to pursue a career in education, the Future Teachers Program equipped me with skills that can be applied outside of the classroom in my everyday life. I highly recommend this program to any of my peers that are considering going into education, as it gives an unfiltered view into the life of a teacher, allowing you to feel confident in your future, whether it be in front of a classroom or not. Thank you.
I just want to thank them for presenting tonight. As someone who's been in the classroom and watched, this is real life, authentic learning and application. So it's an amazing experience. You can see the passion of the group, and we're just so thrilled that we are able to offer this opportunity for our students. So thanks so much.
Okay, I believe that ends all of our business for the moment. So we'll go into public comments now. Just a reminder that public comments are 3 minutes in length. Please be mindful of the clock, watch your time, and I will be announcing who's on deck, so to speak. So if you need to move to the aisle or the front, feel free to do it at that time. Please address the board in general, or perhaps myself as president. Please try to refrain from speaking to other people in the community, and be mindful of our administration up here as well. Just refer to them in general as administration if you make a comment. So with that being said, I think we are ready to begin. Alicia Runkle will go first, followed by Nick Peterson.
Good evening. My name is Alicia Runkle. Mr. Lindemuth, I appreciate your attempted apology tonight, but when you turn right around and imply that students themselves were being disrespectful, that cancels out your almost apology. You can't apologize with one breath and undermine them in the next. Our student reps volunteer their time to represent their peers, and they show up prepared, professional, and respectful every single meeting. They deserve better than to be talked down to or have their integrity questioned, especially in public. Mr. Emery, I sincerely thank you for your comment, and I appreciate all of the time that you have spent working as our facility chair. I know that you have put in the work. I'm very worried still about the air quality, especially because there are doctors who are signing off on documents saying that people in this building have chronic illnesses due to environmental factors. Those air quality monitors that you're speaking about only matter when they hit an emergency alarm level. If those alarms go off, you need to get out immediately or you could die. That doesn't mean that lower levels are harmless. Long-term exposure to poor air quality can make students and staff sick, and that is unsafe. The financial presentation tonight really has me worried. I honestly don't know how you are going to stop us from going onto a watch list or a recovery list. My greatest concern is that our kids and teachers are going to be stuck in these buildings and will have no money to do anything about it. I hope that moving forward, you will make better financial decisions and form a comprehensive plan to renovate our schools or build new. Thank you.
You all have a real problem with public relations. You all have an accountability problem. Rules enforcement, in my opinion, is a double standard. We know the issues with the school isn't something that happened overnight. It's something that's been ignored for years, and unfortunately it fell on your guys' lap. But the problem is it just seems like every time it gets brought up, it's like, oh, we didn't do this. It was the previous board. Well, you got elected for this position to take responsibility and accountability for whatever mess ends up on your lap now. So you made the bed, you gotta sleep in it. You could have raised taxes, you could have done something, and here we are. The quiet people who let the other people talk without stopping nonsense when nonsense occurs, in my opinion, you're just as guilty as the people spewing nonsense. I'm not going to double down on what the previous speaker just said to save time for everybody, but I will say those students, like, you're a stranger to them. No matter who you are, you don't know them personally in your own life. So to talk to somebody like that when they're children still is just, it's crazy to me. I honestly think a lot of you are unqualified and should resign, blaming the administration of your own shortcomings. To one of the administrator's points about receivership, look up Flint City water crisis emergency managers during the Flint City water crisis. They came in, they took away all sort of control that the city had and increased taxes, put the city in more debt for borrowing loans and stuff. And it came out of the taxpayer at the end of the day. So the little bit that everyone was coming up here and asking for in the previous time would have went longer than what we are at, no matter how you guys direct it. Even if a receivership happened, I mean, it's not much different. I feel like, you don't listen to anybody, you don't talk about things, you don't discuss things. I was surprised there was no questions on receivership, all that stuff. Ms. Lindenmuth, I appreciate you asking about, like, clarifying where we're at with that, because I honestly didn't know. So it's good that we aren't in that position yet, but still, like, ask questions. I know no one wants to be here all night, but ask questions, talk about things so we know that you guys have a better understanding than what we see. Thank you.
All right. Excuse me. Next would be Donna Coble, followed by James Safford.
Okay, I'm Donna Coble. I am in the district. I haven't been here for quite some time. just a lot going on in my family, but I was able to come tonight. I really appreciate the work and the hard work you guys are doing up there. Tonight, I feel you gave us a lot of information that maybe, hopefully, will stop all the rhetoric that's going on and the false statements that's going on. The other day I turned TV on and there was somebody from the community on Channel 8 talking about Elizabethtown School and the sewer and the bathroom and the kids. So I hope tonight has stopped the rhetoric, because I feel you gave a lot of good information. Mr. Strickler explained things. I feel everybody that wants to spread the rhetoric and stuff, maybe they should step up, and they want to complain about the people that do step up and get on the board. Maybe they should start stepping up maybe and see how easy it is. To me, it's a learning process for all of you, because first time being on a school board, it takes time to learn. Takes time to learn anything, no matter who we are, or what age we are. If we're doing something new, it takes time. So I feel you guys are doing a great job, and I appreciate what you are doing and how things are going. Thank you.
All right, James Safford is next, followed by Doug Lamb.
Jim Safford, President EAEA. The EAEA stands arm in arm in solidarity with our student representatives to the board, Annika Walsh and Maggie Lehman. Teachers, counselors, nurses, psychologists, and ed support staff roundly condemn the rude, demoralizing, and demeaning comments made by President Lindemuth at the last board meeting. My colleagues, people who, as evidenced in the news time and time again, would literally step in front of a bullet to defend our students, are appalled and disgusted by the way that President Lindemuth spoke to those young women. At very least, Steve, your comments stifled and censored the voice of not only our student reps, but also of the student body that they represent. And at worst, are full-on bullying. And let me be perfectly clear, EAEA does not tolerate bullies. In the time I've known these young ladies, they have shown nothing but grace, poise, honesty, and intelligence in their leadership, something that's sadly lacking in this board. Disagreement is not disrespect. And talk about misinformation. Again, Steve, often you tout yourself as an educator. First of all, an educator never would have spoken to a student like that. Second of all, according to PDE, you don't even have your level 2 certificate. You're on an expired certificate. You do day-to-day subbing on an emergency certificate. And what we've heard tonight about the conditions in this school are nothing but spin. Several days after your so-called testing, and believe me, I worked for 7 years as a microbiologist. I understand this stuff. The guy that you had come up to this podium and talk was not a microbiologist. He's not an immunologist. He's not a physician. I spoke today with Lieutenant Commander Tia McClelland of the Public Health Service. They're on their way. They will be here, and we'll get an unbiased report on this school. That we will accept, not somebody that you're paying to do the job. And the day after we have the testing, I walk in and look at mold-encrusted books in the very room that was tested. And your greatest concern shouldn't be the EAEA, it should be the students. In the 25 years that I've worked here, I don't know, students don't know the name of board members, but they're starting to know your names. And they're whispering them, and they're talking about the conditions in the school and the state of the school district. I would be concerned because the students, you're becoming supervillains in their mind. Okay? So once again, we support our student reps. Thank you.
All right, Doug Lamb is next, followed by Elizabeth Lewis.
Doug Lamb, board and administration, a lot of disrespect from these comments here. A lot of, I don't even understand why we're having this whole conversation about receivership. This is bogus. This is intimidation for you as a board to tell you that you don't know what the heck you're doing by people in the community that don't like you. The community voted for you. You'll have 2 new members coming on next week. I won't be here. I wish I could be here. But no other administration or board has been treated like this. This building has had mold and sewer issues and problems for a long time. But you guys are now being blamed for it. And you're trying to do something about it, and nobody wants to hear it. It's a political stunt. You don't take your employer and run them through the mill and think that that's going to work well for your teachers. And as far as the student reps, we appreciate their willingness to serve on here, but they don't represent 100% of the students in this school. A large percentage of the students don't agree with the position they take. Arguing about curriculum that we want basically to be wholesome for our students, that's all the conversation was about with these books. It wasn't removing them from the library. It was about, does that necessarily need to be in teaching material? And a lot of students agreed that it shouldn't be. But they didn't bother talking to that population. They talked to their population. So it's not a disrespect. It's a point of view. We're on parallel issues here. And Steve, you weren't being disrespectful. You're making an honest comment. It gets turned into bullying. You get your background checked. This is disrespect to you as a board. You're the boss. You guys are in charge of the teachers, the administration here, and people don't care about you. We care about you. We voted for you. The majority of this community is behind you. This is Thanksgiving. We should be grateful for the work and the effort that you guys put in.
Hold on one second. Let's keep the comments down, okay? Thank you.
And this whole thing about receivership, I appreciate the effort that the financial people are putting into it. It's hyperbole. It's overreacting. It's creating a political storm. Yes, you guys have bad PR. If you didn't have the LMP helping you and coming against you, it would not be this way. Why is E-Town being picked out over all the school districts? And why aren't students who represent the student body talking about the fact that E-Town School District comes in 10th in the grade level here in November as far as the school districts in Lancaster County? We should be in the top 5 with the way we're paying people here and the efforts that we're supposed to be putting forward. So this isn't a money problem. This is a morale problem, and it isn't because you guys are doing a terrible job. It's because you're being drugged through the mud all the time, and it's just ridiculous for those of us that support you. We want to thank you for your hard effort. I thank the administration for trying to think of ways to work with you, but we're not anywhere near receivership. We shouldn't even be having the conversation about the watch list. We need to really stop this political stunt stuff. Thank you.
All right, Elizabeth Lewis is next, followed by Tom Miller.
Start by saying how exciting is this future teacher program. I just loved hearing about that, and especially hearing the students' reactions and reports. My reason for speaking tonight is that I continue to wrestle with the board's decision to remove the Glass Castle, the House on Mango Street, The Hate U Give, and Daddy from the ELA curriculum. This board talks about advocating for parental rights, yet blatantly disregarded parents by removing optional ELA selections. Also, it appears that the board intentionally silenced potential public objections to its action by failure to disclose in advance its objections to these selections. This left citizens able to react only after the fact. My reaction resulted in an email to all board members. Before I sent the email, I recalled the statement that you, Mr. Lindemuth, make at the start of each board meeting, when you remind members of the public who have concerns about issues raised at meetings to reach out by email so that board members can respond, quote, thoughtfully and appropriately. Only one person on the board responded to my email. Thank you, Mrs. Carter. One of the questions that I wondered about was who on the board had actually read the works that you were removing. And I can only assume through your failure to respond that Mrs. Carter is the only person who read any of those literature selections. So I would say, Mr. Lindemuth, you would do well to stop telling the public to expect a response from seemingly disinterested board members. Similarly, before public comments begin, Mr. Lindemuth, you remind speakers to respect one another in the board. Your own failure to respect the student representatives at the last meeting was just awful. Only Dr. Nell's intervention stopped what seemed like harassment on your part. It's a relief to know that you now recognize you should have handled the situation better. Hopefully, you will personally apologize to our fantastic student reps. That would be the sincere and gentlemanly thing to do.
Thank you for the great job you're doing. I appreciate it. No books were banned at the October 28th school board meeting. No books were removed from the school library. Students may still access and read books by choice. The books were removed from curriculum. They're no longer used in the classroom for reading, discussions, required assignments. They remain accessible in the library. The books fall into the district's content rating categories of vulgar, obscenities, sexually descriptive content, underage drug or alcohol use, graphic violence, or trauma, themes of abuse or self-harm. Nothing was banned, nothing was removed from the library. Students and families still have access and choice. No student is required to read explicit or mature content in classroom instruction. Thank you for your courage to remove that from the curriculum. I hope the recent rise in anti-Semitism has not affected student body or employees of E-Town School. The Holy Bible reveals that Jews are very special people. The Holy Bible was written by Jews. Our Savior, the Lord Jesus Christ, was a Jew, and the early church consisted predominantly of Jews. The law upon which all Western civilization was built came from the Jews. God called and chose Abraham and Isaac, his son, and sovereignly blessed their descendants. The Jews are chosen people. The whole world is blessed through the Jews. There is a warning in Scripture, though, that whoever blesses them will be blessed, and whoever curses them will be cursed. In Genesis, God promised Abraham the Holy Land, and is now Israel is part of that. Israel is the United States' strongest ally in the Middle East. All Christians are blessed through the blessing Abraham received, as recorded in Genesis 12. God told Abraham in verse 3, I will bless them that bless thee, curse them that curse thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. God revealed himself to all humanity through Israel. We pray for the peace of Jerusalem, Israel, and the Jews. Last week was Bible Week. It was first proclaimed in 1941 by President Franklin D. Roosevelt, just days before our country entered World War II. Children need to know there is a God who is their Heavenly Father and has a plan and purpose for their lives. They also need to know that there is a judgment day and learn how to live in preparation for that day. Proclaim liberty throughout all the land. This directive is cast on the sides of the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. We should not fear a Judeo-Christian biblical worldview. It should be promoted. Pillar 4, student well-being. Make the schools more friendly to Christians and Jews and promote religious liberty. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Drew Robb, followed by Justin Rader.
Hello. Wait, oh, is this good? All right. Hello. First of all,
I'd just like to thank Mr. Strickler. I always look forward to your presentations, and I really appreciate them. I feel that you work very hard, and just thank you. Anyway, on to what I wanted to say. Hi, I'm Drew Rubb. I'm a senior, and I've been coming to these meetings for about a year now, and in that time, I've seen how incredibly important the student representatives are. They talk about topics that are very pressing to the students, and they do their job really well. I remember last year a big concern was vaping, and so that's what the representatives talked about. And this time around, it is books that are being taken out of the curriculum. It is a concern to the students, so the student representatives brought that up. It's not their job to just state the events that are going on. These are also important to the students, but I think the student representatives are more for bringing up issues that are important to us rather than just advertising our events. Because trust me, we will advertise our events just fine. I put up posters for the play all over my workplace. But when it comes to speaking up about these issues, this is our outlet. This is our way to make our voices heard. Also, the student representatives are incredibly kind and respectful. Maggie and Annika are two of the nicest people I've ever met in my time in the high school. And to see them written off as just stating their opinion and acting on the contrary of the board is not a great look. They should be treated with the same amount of respect that they give to all of you. Also, there is definitely no mold at all. Thank you.
Good evening. Ephesians 5:11 through 12 have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. It is shameful even to mention what the disobedient do in secret. First of all, I want to say thank you all for your service here to our community. It's pretty incredible to me. I could not sit in your seat, and I couldn't bite my tongue in the midst of the kind of lies and misinformation that continue to get spread around. I wouldn't be able to shut my mouth, and I just commend you for being able to maintain your composure in the face of the kinds of claims that are made about you and about the things that you stand for. And I find it pretty vindicating to hear the financial presentation there, considering that a school could be in warning state for a decade before even landing. So basically what I heard is we're nowhere near receivership. I think that it's ridiculous to even make that suggestion. If we look at the situation, I trust you guys to adjust course as needed. I fully anticipate that we're going to see, a tax increase more on par with what other schools are doing. But I, appreciate the efforts that you've taken to try to limit those increases so far. I also find it pretty ridiculous too that 2 years ago, I didn't hear a word from any of the people that are attacking you for the condition of the school. I didn't hear a word about the condition of the school then. I didn't hear anything from the teachers union. I didn't hear anything from the administration. What I'd also be interested in hearing is, basically what were the concerns that were brought to the administration, and how have they responded to these concerns before it's landed at your feet? Because it would be my understanding that the administration would be first responsible in addressing these issues rather than bringing them here and blaming the board for them. And again, nobody seemed to be concerned when, the board 2 years ago, I know most of you weren't here, but the board 2 years ago spent well over $10 million for the athletic facility. Nobody seemed to have any concerns about the conditions of the school at that time. I also find it laughable, the suggestion that we're banning books. I was surprised to learn that Da Vinci Code was banned from our school. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume apparently was banned from the school. The Bridges of Madison County was banned from the school. The Road Less Travel by M. Scott Peck was apparently banned from the school. And I use the term banned in the same term that they seem to use it, where it's just not present. If it's not present in the curriculum or it's not present in the library, which none of those books I've just listed are, apparently it's banned, which of course would include the Bible as well. But ultimately, some of these I think belong in our school, and I ask that you'll restore donations. So thank you.
All right, excuse me. Ben Myers is next, followed by Sienna Tyson.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm here to speak about something that's not controversial or partisan. I'm here on behalf of the boys soccer community. You guys should have seen emails today regarding head coach Braden Shuck, so you may already be aware of this situation. His name is going to come up during the personnel report under resignations, and we strongly request that you reject the resignation, as you are permitted to do as a board. The resignation was coerced and must be fully investigated. Please consider this a formal request to look into the situation and correct all wrongdoings. Braden has been an outstanding coach and, more importantly, a leader to our boys. We need to continue to have someone who can lead with integrity, which he has done. Please know that if he is removed, there will likely be a full boycott of the boys soccer program, which could cause irreparable harm, which nobody wants to do. We must stand together and reject whatever backroom politics are taking place and put our student athletes first. Please investigate this and reject his resignation during the personnel report. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Sienna Tyson, a senior at the high school, and I'm here to speak in defense of the students on the board and express my disappointment in Mr. Lindemuth for the comments he made at the last meeting, as well as the recent removal of a film, a poem, and books from the English curriculum. Annika Walsh and Margaret Lehman are both capable and excellent students who represent the student body. I find the comments made about them at the last meeting to be highly disrespectful and not upholding a professional standard for the setting. Dismissing the report as a public comment is extremely impudent and does not speak for their effort in obtaining student opinions. I know both these student representatives went around to homerooms with many different types of students to ask for their thoughts about the media being removed from the English curriculum. And these homerooms are organized by just last names and grades, so they would have gotten a really good sample of the student population. Some might dismiss them saying, did they ask the FFA kids or the football players, but they went around to all the homerooms, which have all different types of students in them. The students responded, and negating the abuse that the students bravely shared about how these books help them is very irreverent. Now, to speak on the media removed from the English curriculum, I find it ridiculous that students can be opted out from the material, but the board decided to remove it from all the students, depriving them of opportunity to learn. First, Romeo and Juliet, the reasoning for removing the movie is gang violence, which is ironic to those who have read or have seen the play, as that is what the whole plot is predicated on. In two feuding families, the Montagues and the Capulets, have their members, Romeo and Juliet, fall in love, which can strengthen their bitter family ties. Shakespeare is meant to be experienced. Reading the script alone doesn't give the full experience for the student. The movie is a great way to experience this, and I can speak from experience. Shakespeare's work has grown on me after getting to see it live through a school field trip to the Gamet Theater in Harrisburg. By removing this movie, you're depriving students of the opportunity to better understand the material. I have read The Glass Castle and The Hate U Give, and both these books provide valuable perspectives to students that wouldn't normally be exposed to. Particularly The Hate U Give's themes of racism and police brutality are incredibly important to read about being that we are in a majority white district, and such perspectives would go mostly unshared. Interestingly, the Sylvia Plath poem Daddy came up in a Quiz Bowl question match while the Elizabethtown team got. Showing a diverse choice of media used in class helps E-Town students succeed in their school clubs, such as Quiz Bowl. Not to mention the amount of times other questions on literature like Romeo and Juliet come up, as well as other books like To Kill a Mockingbird. All this to say, these books and poems and movies help build empathetic, well-rounded students, and banning them or removing them from the curriculum is only removing students of the opportunities to grow. Thank you.
All right, I believe our last commenter here is Amy Carr.
Good evening. My name is Amy Carr, and I would like to extend my appreciation to the board for your consideration for waiving certain donation requirements for the Elizabethtown Church of the Brethren project to eliminate lunch debt within our district. I am honored to work with my congregation and the community on this project. I also would like to express my gratitude for Tom Strickler and his passion for our districts and students. I often observe him go above and beyond his regular job responsibilities because he truly cares for the students. And I have to admit, I did not expect that at any point in my life I would be on a first-name basis with the CFO of a school district, but here we are. I also have to admit that I don't really know much about Tom outside of how I see him interact on the on this stage and when we very rarely have chatted one-on-one. But I do feel like we have a shared perspective on life, which is exemplified in the common quote, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." Mr. Strickler, thank you for help me make this project a reality. And to the Elizabethtown community, I invite you to join Elizabethtown Church of the Brethren in eliminating school lunch debt at Elizabethtown School District. Right now, 328 students currently carry a lunch debt that ranges from 10 cents to just over $900. The total lunch debt within our district totals a little over $34,000. That may seem like a large number, but it can be achieved with many small donations. No amount is too small to make a difference in one child's life. You can reach out to me or the Elizabethtown Church of the Brethren if you'd like to assist with this project. And again, I'd like to say thank you to the board for considering removing roadblocks for this project, and I'd appreciate it if you voted yes. Thank you.
All right, I believe that concludes our comments for the evening. Thank you for your comments. We will certainly take everything there under advisement. We do have some action items here. I think we'll just power through here. I am proposing a consensus vote on items 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. That would be approval of the minutes, the Lancaster County Mitigation Plan, the donations, the 6 through 8 math curriculum, and also the first reading policies for approval. So the other items I would propose are all roll call. That would be item number 3, lunch debt campaign, item number 7, second reading policies, and then 8, 9, and 10, which are the finance report, personnel report, and the special ed settlement agreement. So that's what I'm proposing. Do we have a motion to accept that consensus?
I make a motion that we do consensus vote on items 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for a consensus vote on items 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Do we have any questions? All right, hearing none. Do we have any financial pieces in there? I think we can just do this by yay or nay, right? So all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, that consensus vote is passed. Okay, that takes us to our roll call votes. Item number 3, the elimination of the lunch debt campaign. So we'll look to Mrs. Lindemuth for a motion there.
As discussed earlier in the evening, I make a motion that we approve a temporary waiver of the following provisions of the School Board Policy 702 for the purpose of supporting the Elizabethtown Church of the Brethren's Eliminate Lunch Debt campaign conducted in partnership with Elizabethtown area churches. The requirement that all donors complete a district donation form and the requirement that donations exceeding 1,000 receive prior board approval. These waivers shall apply only to donations designated explicitly for student lunch debt relief and received between December 1st, 2025 and the conclusion of the 25-26 school year. All other provisions of Policy 702 shall remain in full effect.
Second.
Thank you, Troy, for that wording.
All right, so we have a motion to accept this program and a second. Do we have any questions or comments concerning it? All right, hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote on it. Mrs. Maxwell?
Mrs. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Gillis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lindemuth?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Riggleman?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrum?
Yes.
Mrs. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemuth?
Yes. All right, that campaign is passed. Next would be item number 7, which is the second reading policies for approval. I believe there was a request or two to have that pulled for some discussion, so we will hand it over to Mr. Gillis.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to table policy 105 from this until the next committee of the whole meeting. And we approve of policy 102, 209.2, 707, and 249 for implementation as it stands.
Second.
Okay, so again, looking at second readings here, we have a motion and a second to move forward with all of the second reading policies, 102, 209.2, 707, and 249 as written, and a tabling of policy 105. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Any questions or comments concerning that motion?
I did get a recommendation from a board member to basically looking into adding some additional information into policy 105, and that'll be done, and we'll put that into the discussion for the topic on the next committee of the whole meeting.
Okay, so that would be December 2nd. Are we going to have it ready by then, you think?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
All right, so December 2nd, we would discuss 105, which is being tabled temporarily for at least a week. Any other comments or questions concerning second readings? All right, hearing none, we'll take a vote on that. Mrs. Maxwell?
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Gillis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lindemuth?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Riggleman?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrum?
Yes.
Mrs. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemuth?
Yes. Okay, so all second readings have passed other than 105, which has been tabled. Okay, moving on, the finance report. Mrs. Lindemuth, what's your motion?
I make a motion that we accept the finance report as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and second to accept the finance report as presented. Any questions concerning that report?
I have one quick question. I'm sorry that I did not send this in advance, but I just wanted to kind of get an update with the forecast 5 because I know that was off a little bit with the state budget not being passed. So how are we doing with that now? I know we don't know all the numbers, but were you able to plug in any numbers yet, or are we still, is this still kind of not quite right?
It's definitely not right.
Okay.
It's still going to be off for at least another 2 months. I'm meeting with them for an hour we've already got it scheduled for December. And because of December being a short month, we're also scheduled for a second meeting in January. So hopefully, and I will let you know that, hopefully sometime in January, hopefully by the meeting in January, we'll be good to go.
Maybe what this will do for forecast 5 is let them understand that they need to put some different parameters in place for when we have crazy things happen in Harrisburg. It's just a suggestion for them.
Any other comments or questions? All right, hearing none, let's vote on the finance report. Mrs. Maxwell?
Mr. Gillis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lindemuth?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Riggleman?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrum?
Yes.
Mrs. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemuth?
Yes. All right, that brings us to the personnel report. So Dr. Nell will take your recommendation there.
Yes, just before I recommend that, I would like to highlight one of the candidates listed on the personnel report, and that would be Mrs. Caitlin Dobbins, who we are recommending as the next Bear Creek School Principal. Mrs. Dobbins has been in the district since 2022. She did most of her work at the middle school, but she did become one of Bear Creek's assistant principals in 2024. So we are thrilled with the work that she has been doing over there in collaboration with her team, and we're proud to offer her to the board as our recommended candidate this evening. And having said that, I would like to recommend approval of the personnel report pending the receipt of the appropriate paperwork.
I make a motion that we accept the report as given.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to accept the report as given in a second. Are there any questions or comments, concerns regarding the personnel report?
Do we have any comment or concern with what's going on with soccer?
I mean, having just found out about this like half an hour before the meeting and not really having any facts whatsoever is a little bit prohibitive to the board doing anything. I think there's a chain of command that has to be followed, and I definitely think if something is off, that an investigation should be done. But I don't think the board is the first line there.
Dr. Nell, this is a resignation, correct?
Correct.
Does this prohibit Mr. Shook from reapplying should he choose to do that?
He may reapply.
With that being the case, I think that, to your point, Mrs. Wilson, we just heard about this. It's something that was presented to us in not enough time for us to be able to do our due diligence. And I think that we should, my opinion is that we should accept the report as given, understanding that Mr. Shook does have the opportunity to reapply should he wish to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I would echo that. I just don't think we know enough right now, last minute right here, to make these changes. In other words, to pull the personnel report, I don't think is a good idea. So I would just be in favor of accepting it as is and trusting our administration with their recommendation.
Agreed. I just wanted it to be spoken. I wanted it to be addressed. Somebody came to the mic and I just wanted to address that.
I will note that during the meeting, we did receive several emails regarding this with parents behind it. So it is definitely something, unfortunately, I feel like, yeah, getting it a half an hour before the meeting. The resignation took place on the 17th. Is that correct?
I believe that was the date, yes. I don't have it right in front of me, but yes. It was before we published the board agenda, all of you, last week.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, we'll go to a vote. Mrs. Maxwell?
Mrs. Lindemuth,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Riggleman,
Yes.
Mrs. Shrum,
Yes.
Mrs. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Carter,
Yes.
Mr. Emery,
Yes.
Mr. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Lindemuth,
Yes. Final item here is the special education settlement agreement. This is something that we discussed in executive session, I believe, and it is somewhat confidential here, so we can't really discuss it in any great detail, but we do need a motion concerning that settlement. So I guess, who do we go to for that?
I make a motion that we accept the settlement agreement as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept this settlement as agreed. Any questions or comments? All right, hearing none. Mrs. Maxwell will vote.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Riggleman?
Yes.
Mrs. Shrum?
Yes.
Mrs. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Gillis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lindemuth?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemuth?
Yes. All right, we have a lot of yeses tonight. It looks like everything is pretty much passed except for that one item that was tabled. So that brings us to our closing items. We have had no executive sessions since our last meeting 2 weeks ago, so there's nothing really to announce there. In the spirit of saying goodbye, so to speak, to Mr. Emery and Mr. Reed, I know that Dr. Nell is taking care of some of that. I just wanted to offer them each a few brief moments here at the conclusion of the meeting, if they had a few words, to offer some words as departing words. So we'll let the senior go first here, Mr. Reed. Yeah.
I did write some comments down. It's been a great, I guess, ride, if you want to say that, journey, being here. But I'll just read what I have and I'll leave it at that. So first of all, it's been a privilege to be on the board, to serve with all of you. Dr. Nell and the administrative team, it's been a privilege to work with you. I'll miss that relationship, but I know that you'll continue to do a great job. Thank you for your hard work and dedication. We made the right decision to hire you as our superintendent. And you and your team have done a great job overseeing the district. That would include Dr. Kirkpatrick and Mr. Schwartzman. And Mr. Strickler, you personally, as far as I'm concerned, you've been the best CFO we've ever had. Since my time on the board, at least, you helped me understand, and that's not an easy task, to understand district finances more than any previous CFO. I enjoyed working with you and Danielle on the finance committee. It's been a real joy. To the student reps, Annika and Maggie, if you are listening, I see Annika back there, but thank you for your dedication. Keep speaking up for the students you represent, and we really do need your perspective. It does add a lot to our meetings, so thank you, and Maggie as well. School principals and teachers, thank you so much for your hard work and dedication. Yours is a thankless job. I know that is, but what you do is really appreciated, and keep up the good work you're doing. Thank you so much. And a comment to the audience. Thank you for your dedication to show up each and every meeting for the past, 4 or 5 years. I've appreciated hearing from all of you, both the positive and the negative comments. I think they're said for our benefit, and we really appreciate that. I'll say this too, it wasn't in my comments, but sometimes I get confused as to if I answer an email, am I speaking for the board or am I speaking for myself? Sometimes I get a little confused with that, and maybe other board members have that same thought pattern. So it's not a matter of not wanting to address comments and questions in emails. It's a matter of whether or not I should be the one speaking for the board. So that's just the perspective I have in those emails that I've received. One other comment, Christy Moore's not here tonight, but when I first started on the board back in 2017, we were meeting in the IMC classroom. There was only maybe 4 or 5 people that came to those meetings on a regular basis. Christy Moore was there at every meeting. So really, she's probably the senior member of the audience group, if you want to look at it that way. But Christy, if you're listening, thank you for your dedication and your determination to come to every meeting. I really appreciate that. And the fellow board members, really enjoyed working with all of you. It's been a pleasure. I didn't get to know all of you as well as I would like to, but thank you for your expertise, your thoughts. I've learned a lot from you, actually. You too. And Linda, you're out there too. I've learned a lot from you as well. But I would like to say and ask you to continue to support the superintendent in the work that she would like to do and allow her the space to work freely. She has some great ideas. She has a great vision. She has a great team. Please give her the space that she needs to do her job as well as she would like to. I know she would appreciate that. Jim and I talked before the meeting, and he shared what he's going to share. So I wrote some comments down based upon what he's going to share. But the board is not a thankless job. I'm really grateful for the time I've had to be here and to work with all of you. I've learned a lot of things. I've seen how board politics work. But I just wrote this comment based upon what Jim's going to say, so I don't want to steal any of your thunder. But I see how school politics work, and if this makes sense, I wish there was less politics in our school politics. We have a divided audience. It's been like that for quite a while, and you have the Republicans and the Democrats. I get all that, okay? But labels don't really define people. It's really actions that define us. And if I'd like, in a perfect world, I would really love to see this group, and you come every meeting, if there would be some way to find common ground, because I know both groups want to see the best in this district. And I know that because I've talked to people from both groups. And they're good people, and in a perfect world, I'd love to see some teamwork rather than this constant biting at each other. And I don't know where that stems from, but in a perfect world, I think that would be a really good thing. Two other people I want to thank. Becky, thanks for keeping us in line. You do a great job at that. And I've leaned on you a lot for reminders and for questions and so on. So thank you so much. And our resource officers, thank you as well for being here, keeping the peace. And I'll say to Officer Cadillac, Semper Fi. So thanks again. Thank you for the thrill of being on the board. And I wish you all the best, the new board members. One last thing, and I'll shut up. 2 new board members, I would recommend come in willing to learn. There is so much to learn on this board. I don't even think 8 years is enough to learn what there is to learn. I know you newer board members would agree with that. There's so much to learn. Richard Schwartzman and his acronyms, I should say. That's going to be a challenge for you 2 new board members. But come to learn, don't bring an agenda. Come to learn and listen and contribute where you can. And I think it's going to be a good next 4 years. Thank you so much.
All right, Mr. Emery, you're next.
How do I follow that? My comments are more generalized than personal, but I'm just gonna read it because sometimes I can get off track, get a little scatterbrained, and go down rabbit holes. If any of you know me at all, you'll confirm that. So here we go. I just want to say that it's been an honor and a privilege to serve the community in this way. My hope is that I've served well. When I was sworn in, I had my hand on the good book, the Word of God, and I swore to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America with fidelity. I investigated fidelity, and the definition of it is loyalty and faithfulness. I have always done my best to hold true to that swear-in statement. I served with the unity and respect at the forefront of my steps. There have been times that I've made people happy and times that I've frustrated people. In this position, it unfortunately is rare to have the opportunity to please everybody. But what I can say is that I have walked with honor for the position. I have walked my own path and obeyed what I felt the Spirit of God leading me to do. If I had to do it again, I would have tried to listen a bit more, but I would have walked the same way I have. Not for one day have I ever navigated my position with keeping my seat in mind. It has always been about pleasing God, being able to sleep at night, and doing what I believe is right and best for the students of this district. To those, to those that have served with me, thank you for the journey. Thank you for the pushback. Thank you for the education. To those coming on the board, insist on having a teachable spirit and a willingness to be approachable, humble, and really listen to all that want to speak to you. Insist on a willingness to put other shoes on other than your own and to look at all things from all angles. To my community, work hard to bring down the temperature here. We're at a boiling point, and the ones who ultimately lose in this scenario are the children. You can have your beliefs, I have mine, your ideologies, your ideals, but always insist on communication and the kind of healthy debate that promotes growth on all sides. Once again, thank you for this 4-year journey. It has been educational. It has been an adventure. And now it's time for the next assignment God has for me. May everyone have a great Thanksgiving and a blessed Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Okay, so once again, our thanks go out to both Mr. Reed and Mr. Emery for your service and your hard work over the years. We appreciate all that you've done. There's nothing left to do but to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody and ask for a motion for adjournment. We have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, meeting is adjourned.
Peace, I'm out of here.